Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Samantha and I'm going by the handle Miss Mindful, so I'm Miss Mindful. Hello. So I posted a few videos and I haven't really gotten to the meat of anything yet, and I feel that I would like to share a little bit about myself before I start getting into like this deep internal work and experience that I've been having, and just this spiritual journey that I'm on and my awakening process, which I think takes many lifetimes. However, so I just think knowing a little bit about me, how I got on this journey, how it started, and I realized that I talk really slow and that my videos are a little long and I don't know if I'm holding anyone's attention. So I'm going to try to, I don't know if I want to say that. I'm just gonna let it flow and whatever. If I'm too slow, if I'm too whatever, we'll figure it out as time goes on. So I truly believe that the spiritual journey is always happening. Like if you go through your whole entire life and you're asleep, that is your process. And I believe that we continually, I believe in reincarnations. Okay, so everything I say here is my experience, is my own truth. And I'm not trying to make you believe anything that doesn't feel right for you. This is just my truth and I'm expressing it. So I just want to say that first. But I believe in reincarnation, right? My soul is evolving and it comes to Earth to take the curriculum and to become enlightened. Okay. And I believe that enlightenment, I don't even want to put a year, like a time on it. I believe it takes maybe even like hundreds or millions of times. I have no idea of like being here in this earth reincarnating. And so basically what I believe is that we go through our whole life, and then when we take our garments off and we exit this earth, we go back into consciousness, and with all the information that we have picked up and learned in our one journey, and then we go back and we're like, oh, I get it. Like I totally forgot what I was supposed to do there. And so, okay, I'm gonna go back. So you come back, right? You are given the life, the experiences, the parents, the people that will help your soul evolve to eventual enlightenment. And so you come back, right, as a little child, like you look at them and you're like, I was like, what do you know? Like, what do you know that I forgot? Because you are so close to just coming from the source. And like, what do you know, right? So I believe as little infants and babies, we remember. And then we grow up in society, we grow up with these just energies, and we start to develop this false sense of self, like a complete false sense of self, that I am somebody, that my name is Samantha, that I live in Costa Rica, that I was a teacher, that right? The dream, the story just has so much depth to it. So we start to develop this false sense of self. We start to become somebody, and we start moving through life like that, and we forget. Like I don't want to say we forget, but we completely have this false sense of self in our bodies, and it's alive and it's well, and it's literally living through us. And our souls just get pushed down to the side, and they're very quiet, and they're not going to yell at you. They're not going to scream and say, "Hey, this way." Like they whisper, like really whisper. And that's why meditation and getting quiet and getting in tune with myself has helped me to recover this part of me, my soul, the most authentic part of me. And so basically this false sense of self is created, and the world just feeds it, right? Encourages it. It's, you can call it the ego, whatever you want to call it. And it just, so basically it completely takes over, right? And we forget about our mission. We forget about our things here, right? And so we go through our lives, and some of us just go through our lives, the whole thing, living this false sense of self, until you hear about people getting on their deathbed or having a near-death experience, and they come back and everything's changed. Like they just they see the truth, and they kind of recover this other part of themselves, their true part, capital T. And so, and when people are on their deathbeds and they're dying and they're, you know, they're going through everything and they're like I knew that I just never wanted to get to that point where I was on my deathbed and was like, oh my God, I don't want to say wasted, because it's all a part of your own soul's journey and your process, but that I just wasted that whole lifetime. Like I totally forgot. And now that I'm at the end of my lifetime, this one lifetime, that I remember. And then you go back to consciousness and you're like, okay, I got it. Like, this is what my soul needs. These are the experiences that I need. These are the things that are going to like literally squeeze me until I can see like this soul and bring it out and allow it to flow through. So that is a belief that I have come to in my own truth. And so when was that moment for me when I knew that something was wrong? And I don't think I fully knew something was wrong, but I knew that something wasn't right. Something didn't add up for me. I could feel it, but I couldn't put like a pin on it. I didn't really know, because everybody else that is in my life is operating with this false sense of self, and they're feeding my false sense of self. And we're all just in this big dream of illusion with this false sense. It's just, right? I have trouble sometimes explaining what I'm thinking and what I feel and what I know, not what I know, but like what I know in my heart, because it's out of my mind, and it's my heart that knows this stuff. It's not my mind that can understand this stuff. So I was going through a really challenging time when I was 18, and it had to do with a guy, right? You're 18, it happens. And my mother gave me this book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I'm telling you, this book changed everything for me. And I'm not saying it will change everything for you. You got to be in a certain spot and have a certain amount of suffering to be able to be receptive to things. And maybe it's a different book, maybe it's a different podcast that you're listening to. It's different for everybody. So anyways, I read this book, and it was the first time that I was aware, or that I knew that I wasn't my thoughts. You know, I wasn't what I thought, and it was amazing to know that. But I felt crazy after a while, because I'm like, oh my God, I can now, like, I know that these thoughts aren't mine. Like, who am I, and what is me? And okay, so I don't have to believe these things that I think about myself and that I think about the world, but I didn't know anything else. And something with me that I've noticed, and I've noticed about and the education system, is I was never taught how to think for myself, to question things, to like not just take every piece of information that was given to me and just be like, okay, the teacher told me that this is right, and I heard this was right, and someone said that this is the truth, so this is what I believe. Like, I just believed everything. I never thought for myself. I was never taught how to think for myself, right? And now I find myself in this spot where I'm 3 months unemployed, and I want to start a business, but I don't even know how to start a business, because I've only ever worked for people. Like, if you give me something, you tell me what to do, I'm great. Like, I'll follow along. I'm great with that. But you give me this space where I don't have that I don't have anything that's guiding me, and I don't know what to do. I'm looking for someone to tell me what to do. How messed up is that, right? So that book was the changing point in my life. And just like a little analogy with what I was just saying is, it's like when your teacher gives you a list of topics that you could write about, and you pick one. But when the teacher for me would be like, write about whatever you want, I'd be like, no, like, I don't know what to write. Can you just tell me? You know, like, that was me. And so I never developed this part of my brain where I was taught how to think on my own, how to create my own ideas, all this stuff. So I read that book. Let's keep going. And that just started like 10 years of, I don't want to say 10, maybe like 6 or 7 years of reading self-help books like this, where I could get information from and start to question things and to become aware, and like spiritual books. And, you know, so let's keep going. I was a senior in college, and there was this guy, this professor. Every time I saw him, I was like, who is that guy? He is so jolly. He is so light. I want what he has. So I remember talking to him one day and la la la, and so I ended up making sure that I took one of his classes my senior year, and the first thing we did in class was we meditated. And if were one of my students in the past, you know the story, so I'm not going to fully go into it, but we meditated, and that was the first time I ever meditated. And so I raised my hand at the end, and I was like, "Professor, have you ever read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle?" And he was like, "See me after class." So to make this whole long story about my connection with this professor and what he had done for me in my life and like triggered all of this stuff, it was huge. Like, he held me after class, we talked, and the next day I came into class, he gave me this book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I think that's the right name. I don't know if I'm saying it incorrectly, but I read it. It was beautiful. We just developed this connection. He had a meditation club that I would go to. He had a poetry club, which I didn't attend to, but I do write poetry. And I still have a connection with this professor who is now my friend. I always would call him my guru since I graduated college. So a while ago, 7 or 8 years at this point, I think. I don't know. I was a math teacher. I wasn't always great with basic math. So, okay, let's keep going. So I started to bring meditation into the classroom because I had a really horrible class, 5th grade class, my first year teaching, and I didn't know what to do. And so I reached out to my professor and I was like, "Hey, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm going home crying every day. I don't know how to manage them." You know what he suggested that I do? He said, "You should meditate with them." I was like, "Are you for real? Like, I can't even get them to stop talking. You want me to get them to stop talking, to sit still and to meditate?" He's like, "Yeah, just try it." I'm like, I had nothing to lose, so I tried it. And I started using meditation every single class for the next 6 years. And wow, it just had a life of its own for me. It was just, I don't know what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm feeling things here and I'm not sure how to express them with words. Just wow. And so I remember I was doing meditation every single class with the kids. They loved it. It just was a miracle. Just amazing. Wow. Like I said, right? And I remember my mom one day was like, like, you're doing meditation in class and you're, talking about it with the kids and you're showing them this tool. However, I don't know exactly how she said this, and I don't even know if this was like completely correct, but she was like, "I really don't see you doing this outside of school. Like, if you're gonna be sharing this with kids, you should probably start embodying it and start living it." And so I was like, she's so right. Like, I just meditate for 5 minutes with each class every day, and then I go home to my normal life and I'm not using this practice in my life, right? So there's a little dissonance there, right? So I started deepening my own meditation practice. I did a lot of guided meditations that I would follow because I hadn't developed awareness yet. Like, I hadn't developed that muscle of being able to take my awareness and watch a thought, and take my awareness and just like take it off a thought and put it on my body, or, so I started to develop my own practice of that. And so let's keep fast forwarding. This practice just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you really truly live it and you really truly practice it, it's a miracle worker. And it started to take, like, I trained my awareness, which I have another meditation on, that I was doing this meditation for years. And I don't want to say once I built up enough awareness, but there was a point, you don't see the direct, like, huge effects of meditation in your life right away. Like, everything's a practice. You don't just become a bodybuilder by going to the gym once, right? You go every day and you change the way you eat and you change the way that you're spending your time. Maybe you stop drinking, you stop using marijuana and all those things, right? Like, there's things that you do to get to that space, right? Same thing with this meditation practice. There are things that you do other than meditation to get in line with mindfulness. It's not just something you sit on your mat and do, it's your whole life, right? And so the goal is that in meditation, we are training our awareness And at the beginning, right, there are so many levels. I want to go like this. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper. There are so many levels to meditation. So, and I don't believe that there's a bottom. It's limitless. It's infinite. It just keeps going. And that's where I've been getting in touch with my soul. So where do I want to go next with this? There's so much to share. I get so excited. I have so much to share, and then I just go blank. Okay, so we develop our awareness, right? And we start to be able to place it on different things. In meditation, we're training our awareness. So we're developing that skill. Like, that's just the space where I train myself. And then slowly I start to see in my life that when I'm having, someone's yelling at me or whatever, I can take a pause and I'm not just responding. And that when I'm thinking about something, I just am able to watch it and observe it without fully allowing it to control my body, my feelings. And of course, I'm still human. I'm practicing this forever. So I'm not perfect at this. I am just sharing my journey and continuing to make this the most important part of my life, because I don't want to be living in this false sense of self, which I do believe takes a long time to get rid of, because we spend the most important years of our life building it. And the years when our minds are the most fertile, we are just taking in everything. And then we spend the rest of our lives trying to take it out. Meditation gives me awareness of my emotions. It allows me to create space. That's the biggest thing. Like, you get a little bit of space between thoughts. You get a little bit of space between your reactions. You get a little bit of space between, like, the drama of life and just existence. And so it just starts to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And the practice will change. Your practice will change. I went from just trying to calm myself down with meditation and relax to training awareness, so that I'm able to take my awareness off my mind and put it everywhere else, because everywhere else has so much beauty and there's life, and it's not just all up here. This is a tool, right? However, as humans, we completely abuse it. And we don't know any better, and that's okay. And so mindfulness and meditation helps us become aware of that. And then we search for ways of, like, okay, how can I stop feeding this completely? And how can I stop letting this mind run my life? And how can I step into the moment and step into my body and step into my feelings and understand what my body's talking to me, When I'm sick, I'm not just annoyed and angry because I don't feel good. Like, I'm grateful for the fact that my immune system is taking all the energy from my body and using it to fight something off, right? We just become aware of the miracle of life, and we get out of our heads and the me and the me and the me and the mine. This is mine and this is how I feel. And why did you do this to me? And, right? So we start to get space between this false sense of self, this mind, all this creation, and our true essence. And this takes time, persistence. And so let's keep going with this story so that I don't have another 40-minute video, which we're already, it's okay. Okay, so what's next in my journey? Developing this practice, I'm using it in education. I'm seeing how beautiful this impact is on adolescents and children, and how education is missing this piece. Like, we're not even taught how to breathe, but yet we're stuffed with a bunch of information that I don't know if we'll ever use. And so the next biggest point in my life was a hard one. I found myself with this person, not really in a relationship, but starting one, and it just went really bad. At the same time, COVID hit. If you were a teacher during COVID, God bless you. If you were a student during COVID, God bless you. Like, it impacted everybody. I lost my passion for teaching. Like, I just didn't want to get up in the morning. We were doing this, we were out of school for 3 weeks at first, and then they canceled the rest of the year. We were doing it online. And then that following school year, I thought we were going to be online, and I was just totally set. We're going to be online. Everybody else is going to be online. But no, we came back. We were hybrid. It was just, I was struggling with my own issues and just what was happening in the world. And then I just wasn't passionate about teaching anymore. And I was in this relationship that was really intense, I can say. And then I got hit with the COVID vaccination mandate. And now I'm not going to get into any of this or my beliefs, or I'm not going to take a stand on anything. I'm not here to say that you shouldn't have got it or you should have got it. Like, that's not what I'm here to say. I'm here to share my story. So I knew in my body that I could not get this vaccine. And I was willing to lose my job over it. And it had nothing to do with anything, like all the information that they were putting out there about it. It had to do with me and listening to my body, who I have been in touch with and who I can listen to and who I can hear now, because of my mindfulness and my meditation practice. And so I decided to fight it. And it probably took like 3 years off of my life. Like, I went hard in here. Like, I had to stick up for myself. This is my body. This is my temple. And I couldn't get it, right? And so I was ready to lose my job. So I fought for months. And I didn't know at what point the rug was going to be taken out from underneath me and that I wouldn't have a job. So I started thinking about another job, and I can't do another teaching position because I just go to another school. They're going to mandate it. What if I get what if other schools start mandating it? What can I do where I wouldn't be stuck in this situation where I would be mandated to put something in my body that I don't want? So I was like, the only option for me is to start a business, right? I did think about, if I got fired, that I would go back to college, to school again. I'd just gotten my master's. I'm like, I don't want to go back to school. So I started, I had for the first time to think about that teaching wasn't going to be forever for me, and that I might get fired. So let's keep going. I started looking up retreats, like, can I go travel for a month? Like, if I get fired, I just need to go travel and be in a retreat and be in a container that can hold me. And lo and behold, you had to be vaccinated for all these retreats to travel, everything, right? It was just wild. So I ended up finding this retreat. It was for a weekend, and I went to this retreat, and it was in Texas. It was called Fit for Service. And that was another, the biggest change in my life. It was just another layer of just, let's go. Let's get out of this false sense of self. Let's bring the soul through. Let's live from a space of what my soul came here to learn, right? So the sun is finding me. Let me adjust some of this. Okay. So I went to this retreat, and for the first time in my life, I was in a container of 120 people who were all had their own business, all on a spiritual journey, all had meditation practice, were healers. It was just I found my home. Oh my gosh. And myself, my true self, was reflected in all of these people. And so it was the first time where I saw this energy inside of me living free. And I was like, who is this? Who is this? I love her. She feels good. This feels like, I just felt like I had just slid into line with my being and my truth. So I had a huge moment here, another huge moment. I was in a meditation, and I'll do another share on this. If I don't know how deep I want to get into myself and my journey, I just got to do it deeply. So I made the decision. It was in my body. I heard it. It was just I don't want to say I heard it, but I heard it with my heart. You want to continue embarking on this journey of following your soul's mission in this reincarnation. Give up alcohol, and give up smoking marijuana. And it was like I received this message so deeply in my heart, and I just spent the whole weekend crying because I smoked a ton of marijuana and I drank. So drinking wasn't really like my thing. I did it, but smoking, so. And I think I would like to do another video on that and my journey with that and my decision to stop and what my life looks like now. I mean, I think I'm doing this here too. So huge. Then I went home and I just full on was like, who is that person? Like, who is that part of me that was like here and living through my body and expressing through my vessel when I was in Texas at that retreat? And I just spent so much time making sure that I was nurturing that and like figuring out what that was. And when I came home, I could see all these like masks that I would put on, and you know, like I wouldn't allow people to see her, and I'm calling it my true self, her, with a capital H, H-E-R. Who is she? Capital S in she. Who is she? I need to figure this out. Like, that is me. So anyways, I came home and I did everything I could to possibly nurture this. And so let's keep fast forwarding. So I got a whole set of sound healing bowls. I was meditating, I was journaling, I was doing my readings, and I'm pointing here because I have readings that I do every morning, which I can share if anyone's interested. Just went deep. And so then I booked a flight to Costa Rica to go on another retreat. It was about a week. It was a week long. I canceled, like, life-changing. Canceled my flight home, traveled with these people. In the same way that like I received a message in my heart of to stop drinking and to stop smoking, I received the same message of move here. And I'm like, me? No. Like I can't move away from my family. Like, I'm the person that I used to go to hockey clinics for a week and I would be crying. I would turn the tub on in the shower and I would just cry on the phone with my mom because I didn't want anyone to hear me, because I would like had separation anxiety. Like, me? No. Like, I went to college 20 minutes from my family. I moved home. I lived with my family. I got a job at the high school that I used to attend. I bought a house 3 minutes from my parents. Like, how it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but I received a message. Like, I didn't hear it, I could feel it. It was so clear. Move here. I need you to move here. That's your next step. So I can like feel it all in my body. Like, I'm scared, I'm fearful, because same thing with like, you need to stop using any sort of substances. Like, I got the message, now I gotta go do it, and like I'm scared. Like, what's my life gonna look like, and how am I going to do this? How am I going to tell my parents? So I came home from Costa Rica. Like, I started applying to jobs while I was there. I redid my resume for the first time in like 6 years, not like 5 years. And I called my dad. I'm like applying for jobs here. He was like, get the bleep home. What are you doing? You know, I had the whole summer. I didn't have to be home for anything. So anyways, I eventually made my way back home, and I spent hours, like 5-6 hours in my backyard with my sound healing bowls, with my journaling, connecting into myself, meditating, just like having to tune in and like be like, what's happening in my life? What is happening? What message did I just receive? Why did I receive it? How am I going to do this? Like, trying to understand everything. And so I started, like I said, I applied for a job. I ended up getting this job. So then I'm like I knew I was going. I was just like, I have to go. Like, I have to go. I can't explain it any other way than that. I have to go. Like, I received this message in my heart. My soul is speaking to me. I have to go. I'm freaking scared out of my wits. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I've never been apart from my family. I was tenured in this job that I was gonna do forever. I was gonna retire at Shrewsbury High School. That was just my thoughts. I was, you know, and I saw like, okay, if I meet somebody and I get married and I have kids, I'm done. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm stuck. So I got the job. I started figuring out like what am I going to do, how am I going to do this, like I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't tell my family because they were going to start feeding this false sense of self and they were going to grow that. Like I needed to nurture her. I needed to be with her. I needed to be alone, you know, and I think that my family was like, what is going on? She's sitting in the backyard for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours a day. She's really not connecting to us in the ways that she was. She wants to move to a different country. Like it was just so much. And I'm wondering if I want to continue telling the rest of the story in this one or put it into another one. I want to put it in another one because this one's already pretty long. So, yes, I will continue to tell this story and my journey of how I told you a little bit about before I moved to Costa Rica. In my next video, I'll share like how I went about going through that space of knowing that I was moving and how I actually did it. And then, of course, we'll just continue on with what happened after and all these lessons and this beauty and this wisdom and this beautiful soul that I know and I'm still getting to know, how it came through and how it's guiding me and directing me, and just it's not easy. It takes so much courage and so much bravery and so much strength, and this is not within me. Like I am asking for this strength and I asked for all of this and I prayed for it, and I'm like, if you need me to do this, like you need to help me do this. So I love you all. Thank you for listening, and I will continue this journey and this story in another video. Ciao.